everyone. Welcome to the Self-Awareness Journey podcast. I'm Melissa Albers.
And I'm JJ Parker. This podcast is for seekers, seekers of happiness and joy, seekers of a centered approach to success in life, seekers of their true, authentic selves.
Get ready for some real talk on everything from anxiety, emotions, and habits to love, compassion, and forgiveness. We know you'll be challenged and enlightened by this conversation. We're so glad you're here. Let's dive in.
Melissa, we have this like back and forth list of different pod topics.
Yeah.
And this one that you kind of keep bubbling to the top, which I don't really quite understand.
I
is
love
this idea,
one.
Is like kid emotional currency.
Yes.
So I'm like, I know what all of those words mean, but I don't quite know what they mean all together.
Oh my gosh.
So like,
okay,
what do you mean emotional, like kid currency or kid emotional currency?
So we're into summer right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love summer. I have always loved summer. I'd get so excited when summer was here. And then it got me thinking about the things that I really coveted, okay, as a kid. Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking about when I looked at other kids, what did kids, especially back in my day and your day, it's different today, which would be interesting to compare and contrast, but what did kids, when we were kids, what did kids hold as valuable? What was the currency that we used? And when we had friends, how did we measure our friends' value and worth on whatever currency we deemed as important to us?
I see. Got
okay?
it. Because
gosh.
like as kids we wouldn't have the current like way to maybe like judge your worth as an adult is by like cash or something.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
But
net worth.
It was different. Is totally different as a kid. Got it. Okay.
Oh,
I'm
my
in.
gosh.
I'm in.
It was totally different. Okay, so let me just tell you one of the examples just to make sure we're on the same set of rails, okay?
Okay. Yep.
Kids that showed up outside to play with all of the neighborhood kids with snacks. Oh
right.
Right? Snacks. And usually they had to steal them from their house. They had to steal them from their house, but they would lord over the neighborhood with these snacks and dole them out in the way they deemed as, who was deserving.
Yeah. Mine in that way was specifically the snack was ices. Like, the colored
I remember those
tubes.
5 cent. Frozen.
Yep.
And
then
you'd always cut your lip trying to rip them off at the top. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was horrible.
What a horrible design. Like, let's make this kid snack which cuts your lip every single time.
And little kids who have dirty fingers. Oh God.
But then the thing with the ices, beyond the just like you have ices and they're actively melting,
yes,
and you're trying to give them to your friends, is like which color, who gets which color.
What did you want? Wait. On the count of 3, say the color you wanted. 1, 2, 3.
Grape.
Blue. Oh, you liked purple. Oh
yeah, purple.
Oh my gosh, I loved purple too, but I loved blue. Oh, so good.
Yeah, that blue is pretty good. And then your mouth was like colored
totally
for like the rest of the day.
Yeah, ices.
Like you couldn't get it past your parents that you stole the ices because you came back with like a bright blue mouth.
Right. Okay, so I want to ask you, were you the kid that had the ices or did you have people that you got ices from?
Oh no, Mrs. Parker always had the ices.
Oh my God, Mrs. Parker loaded you with kid currency in every design. I know she did. I'm so envious.
It continued even like when I was in high school because it was like our house also had like every flavor of soda and all the chips and everything.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, well I love that. I love that. You know what ours? We were a little, rougher than perhaps the Parkers because, I was raised in northern Minnesota. So I had this neighbor, Tracy Larson, and you know what our snack currency of choice was for the neighborhood?
What's that?
Pickles. Pickles.
Oh my God.
She would sneak a big
That's
jar
so
of
weird.
pickles. It's so weird, but we loved it. We thought it was so cool. Like, oh my gosh,
That's
Tracy's
awesome.
got pickles.
Mm. All right,
Oh,
now
so
you got me thinking about summertime and
yeah.
and that stuff.
Yep. I got a couple
To
more
me,
examples for you. Oh, okay, go
oh,
ahead.
I'm going.
Okay.
To me, the best indication of your success as a kid was
Yep.
the kind of bike you had.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like
Yep.
like if you were fortunate to have a 10 speed,
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
you had made it, right?
Yeah. Do
Or
you know
a
what was
super sweet BMX with the pegs.
Okay, now this is going to date me older than you a few years, but
Uh-huh.
enough to change the bike because you know what was the coolest for us?
Mm. Hmm.
Banana seat and banana handlebars.
Oh,
Oh my
right.
God, that was so big. So because I even jotted down some notes, I was like,
Mm.
oh, bikes were so big. But then I started reflecting, wait a second. It wasn't just bikes, it was anything with wheels.
Yeah.
We had skateboards,
Mm-hmm.
we had bikes, we had, oh my gosh, I remember this one family.
Did you have a 3-wheel, like a big wheel,
Oh,
right? Where you
yes.
sit on it, had the big wheel in the front, and you pedal it.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing
Yeah,
would
those
like wear
plastic
down,
things.
and yeah, and then it would like get holes in it, and then it just become broken.
Those big, huge plastic wheels that were so
Yeah, yeah.
loud. Like you weren't
So
allowed to even
loud.
be on it until like 7 o'clock in the morning because it would wake up the
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I had? Oh my gosh. Like I said, we did not have lots of money, right? So what I had, I just coveted. And one of the things that made me really cool was I had a pair of roller skates. Roller skates, but they were metal. The wheels were metal, and you
Oh my
strapped them on to your
Sounds
shoes.
dangerous.
It was loud, and it jarred your fillings loose every single time you were on the road. But I mean, didn't you covet people that
So-
had things with wheels?
Oh yeah, loved riding everything, just anything that would roll. The thing with the thing that came with the wheels though, that was
Yeah.
also super valuable,
Yeah.
was like the freedom to go
Yes.
somewhere. Like, so that was like
Anywhere.
the other kind of currency that would happen in my neighborhood is like, if I had a friend who's like, I don't know, it's probably like, who knows, like 4th grade or something, or 3rd grade. Like
Yeah.
his mom would let him bike to the gas station like 4 blocks up the road. And there was like a road that we weren't allowed to cross in our neighborhood. You know, like we knew like that was like the boundary of
same
where
here.
we could go.
Yep.
And that kid got to go across that boundary
No way.
to the gas station. Yeah.
Oh, where he could get said freezies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that kid was like extra special. Like he had the most currency.
Yeah.
Like everybody
He
looked
had the
up
most
to him.
currency. Yeah, he had the most currency because he got like
Whoa.
a valuable thing, which was like this kind of freedom to go ride his
my
bike
gosh.
to where you're not supposed to ride your bike.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So in the same vein, I also have to say loose change. So my grandparents, I always stayed with my grandparents in the summer. My grandma had one of those old Band-Aid boxes, you know, they were tin and the lid would flip up and she would keep change in that, like quarters, dimes, nickels, some pennies. Anyway, I would sift through all that and I would take out the dimes, not the quarters, the dimes, because I could run across the street to the gas station and I could get a treat. So that was like, oh man, that was such a big deal. It was such a big deal.
I wonder if, I don't know that our kids have the same sort of like emotional attachment to gas stations that we do, because
Oh my gosh, you're right.
like I
never
think they don't
thought of
care.
that.
But to me, it was like, it was such a special destination, like the gas station. You get like
even
a
if you
Charleston
traveled-
Chew there.
Or a bazooka, a piece of
Yeah.
bazooka gum so you could read the comic. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I love it. Okay, I have another one.
Right.
Forts. The kid,
Oh,
oh my
yep.
God, the kid who was given the latitude to make an outside fort or
Mm-hmm.
that their parents would even have a
Mm.
fort made for them. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. That was
Mm-hmm.
like, you might as well tell me someone's living in a 6,000 square foot house.
Right. Yeah, that was it. That was you moved
Right?
out. You don't
You,
live with your parents anymore. You got this fort.
yeah, and you made believe that you were going to move into it, and
Yep.
in one corner of it you would make like a makeshift kitchen, and then
Mm-hmm.
in another corner of it you could have like where you were going to sleep, even if it was, like a foot and a half
Mm-hmm.
by 3 feet wide. I mean, kids with forts. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. We had like a tree house. My dad built us a tree house.
Oh, see, you were the house. Wow.
Um, which is pretty great. We spent a lot of time up there. And then I
What
remember
kind, what did
building
it,
like
what was
little
it like? What was it like?
well, it was pretty simple. I mean, it was just kind of like a platform in the
Yep.
tree,
Yeah.
like up maybe like 6 feet or something. But then
Yeah.
we could take like, then we would take like sheets or blankets and kind of like wrap it around there
Yes.
and try to enclose it.
Oh, yeah. And closing it was very
Yep.
important. Like you didn't
Yep.
want to be seen. Like that was a
Right.
thing.
Hiding
The
in
quality
there.
of the fort, you had to be able to hide.
Yep.
And was it big enough for your friends to be in?
Oh yeah, you could get like 4 people up there. It was pretty big.
That's so cool. How did you get in it?
Um, let's see. There was just like a ladder. He had just built like a ladder against the tree, and so he just climbed
Fun.
up the ladder and got in there.
Oh,
Yep.
that is so fun. Okay, so in my neighborhood, one of the neighborhoods I lived in, we had like, I don't know, 9 boys and me. Like it was just all boys. And we did so many fun things like that. So one thing we did is we all went into our garages and areas and we tried to find like old boards, nails. Somebody took a couple hammers and we went and made a fort in the woods. And fort is just the loosest of terms. Dangerous would probably be the better term. And we just nailed pieces of board and other twigs and stuff to makeshift this platform to make a fort for all of us. Okay. And then someone thought it would be even cooler if we saw how many layers we could put in it, how many levels. We built that thing to have 6 levels.
Holy cow.
In this tree. It was so dangerous. Rusty nails, rickety, broken, right? But it was
That's
so
awesome.
cool. And that was like the kingdom for our neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Like that was in terms of currency. And if kids were fighting, as they always did, who was in that first? They were king.
Yeah, that's awesome. We had like we built like some woods forts too. We had in our neighborhood. We had this situation. It's like out of a movie. It's like at the end of our street was a railroad track, and then it kind of like went down in like it was like sunken down, and so we all the time we'd like walk up and down the railroad track, which is dangerous enough by itself. Then, like a bit up was the railroad track went over a little creek.
Oh
So
my
it was
gosh.
like a bridge.
Oh, cool.
Right?
You get a little
then you could,
culvert
like-
or something under it.
Yeah, and then you could go down in there next to the railroad track by the creek, like build stuff down there. No one could see you. Like it was so hidden. Like anything could happen down there.
Was there like water? Was the creek?
Yeah.
Was the creek? Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 9 Mile Creek in Bloomington.
Oh, right. Oh, right. I know that. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that
So-
location.
Yeah, so that building your castle was a big deal as a kid.
That was a really big deal. So yesterday, I was in a coaching call with another client, and she's a friend, And she was saying how sad she was because her parents' home, her dad still lives in it. There was a swimming pool and they're filling it in. They're going to cover it and make it just ground instead of keep the pool. And I was like, and she was just like explaining all the tactics of this as a grown up, like, oh, this is how much it costs. It's not as much as we thought. Blah. My dad will he won't have to worry about it. I go, can I just ask you something? Like, are you going to be sad? And she started to cry. She said, oh my gosh, I have so much emotion about this. And so she started to talk about a pool. And I realized to myself, oh, this is another kid currency. This is a huge value, right? She said they had neighbors across the street that had 4 boys and 1 girl, and they were all best friends. And they lived in that pool. And her dad always hated it. Her mom loved it. So as she was talking about it, she said her mom took out every penny from her 401k and built that pool for her.
Wow.
And the dad was furious and the mom was thrilled.
That's awesome.
Isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. If you had a pool as a kid, you were like the richest kid in the neighborhood.
on the planet. Yeah. And your emotions about kids that had things that you didn't. It's interesting when you kind of reflect on that, right? Like, what you thought of them, like you thought of them as really rich if they had something different than you.
Yeah,
they didn't have
right.
If they had something more or nicer or whatever.
Yeah.
2 bikes, 3 bikes sitting in the garage. Whoa.
Yeah,
right?
Here's the other thing I was thinking about is, like being invited to birthday parties was another like big little piece of
defining
kid currency.
Those are defining moments.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Even if birthday party was just weird, didn't matter.
Didn't matter what it was. It's just like, did you get invited?
Yes. Did you get invited? Yeah, exactly right. That's like payday.
So maybe not in Staples, Minnesota, but down here in the big city. If you got invited to a skating party at the roller rink, that was a big deal for us.
Game changer.
Like we had a. I'm sure if I went there today, it would be like such a silly looking thing. But like to me, like the roller rink was like the big time event, right? There was
every weekend.
Tons of people, and the music was loud, and there was fun games. There's video games. There was skating around in a circle, and
the smell. You looked forward to that because it was such a great place to be. And it was so horrible.
I'm sure. It was. I'm sure I go there now. I'm like, this is dirty and gross.
By that time, I was living in Owatonna. I mean, I lived Staples, Medford, Brainerd, Owatonna, Bemidji, Grand Rapids. I mean, I lived all over the day, and then Brooklyn Park, all over the place. Anyway, by the time roller rinks were big for me, I was in Owatonna, and we had the old wooden floored roller rink.
Right.
And it was with the big posts in the middle, the mirrored ball in the center, and all the things. And I rented roller skates every time I went, but I bought pom-poms because pom-poms were hugely popular. So I'd bring pom-poms and tie them on the rental skates.
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't it? Pom-poms. Oh, that is hilarious. Okay. I have a question about the birthday parties. Do you remember about how you socialized birthday parties? Do you remember getting invited to ones and lording it over others? Do you remember that?
No, the thing that you and everyone else has to really remember about me is like a super, super quiet as a kid. So
yeah,
like
that's right.
I don't think I did that because I probably really didn't talk to many other people anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I get it.
But like being invited to like my handful of friends' birthday parties was like the big deal, and then sitting down to decide who was going to come to my birthday party.
Oh, I know. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yep.
I love it. Okay, I thought of another one.
Okay.
Cabins. Families that had cabins. Now, you guys had a cabin because your grandparents were up
Yep, so is
near
my
Motley.
grandparents. Yep. And I
So,
think I was probably like, would have been like in sixth grade or seventh, maybe sixth or seventh grade when I invited a friend up to our cabin.
oh, that is so big.
And yeah, it was like, because for me, it was like at school, I was very, like quiet, kind
Yeah.
of nerdy kid.
Yep.
But
Stop
at the
judging yourself.
it's just a fact,
I know.
not a
No,
judgment.
you don't just say nerdy.
I'm
All right,
proud of
carry on.
it now.
Okay. Okay. Carry on.
But at the cabin, I was like almost a different kid because like I water
Oh,
skied,
sure.
right? I was like I was a really good water skier.
Oh,
So
yeah.
up there, it was like I got like this whole different side of me that I
Oh,
got
my
to
gosh.
show, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
wasn't happening at school.
Oh my gosh. That's another one. Kids that could water ski. That was a big deal. Like kids thought differently about you if you knew how to
Yeah.
water ski. I
Yeah.
remember my best friend Angie her family had a cabin up near Mille Lacs,
Mm-hmm.
and her dad, when we were must have been high school or junior high, was bound and determined to teach me how to water ski because everybody knew how to water ski by this time, but I never did. 13 tries to get me up. The 12th
Wow.
time I got up, but I was so used to not that I let go. And his hands left the steering wheel of that and just covered his face, and he started to yell.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, kids that could water ski or held some sort of skill that wasn't obvious, that was a big kid currency.
I could deep water start on a slalom ski in fourth grade.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yep.
Are you still really into water skiing?
No,
Just side note. No?
not really anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, or want your kids to be. I know you had that really cool, like you were
yeah,
trying
oh,
to
yeah,
teach Abby with that cool pole that stuck out from the side
Oh
of your
yeah.
boat.
No, we got the barefoot pole. I was very into
Oh, the
to all
barefoot.
water sports for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember when you got your boat and you brought your new dog and you were barefoot and the dog jumped out of the boat onto the landing and took off running. And you
Oh.
had to go. I just don't know why I thought of that. Okay. Anyway.
Okay,
and
so
we're
some
back.
other things. Keep moving.
Yeah. Okay.
Just other things that I was thinking about, like
Yeah.
for me when I was a kid, stickers, like trade-in stickers.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh,
any
I forgot about that.
Eraser pencil toppers. Did you have those?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
we
we had
Go. Yeah. What?
combs, big combs that you were supposed to wear in your back pocket that had stickers
Oh, right.
on the handle that said something. That was a big deal.
And then like specifically like at school, it's kind of like at school, right? Like
Yeah.
your lunchbox, trading whatever lunch stuff you had, right?
Yes. 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 Oh, you know what we haven't said? Did you collect any kind of trading cards of any variety?
Oh, yeah, baseball cards.
You had baseball cards?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you ready for this? I had 400 Star Wars cards.
Wow.
Star Wars. Yeah. And I gave them all away. Oh, such a mistake. Okay. I also had Charlie's Angels cards.
Mm-hmm.
Mork and Mindy cards were a thing for
What?
a little while. I had those.
You weren't into like the mainstream trading cards. You're just into all of the weird ones.
Sadly, those were mainstream when I was into cards. Sadly. Oh my gosh, I forgot about lunchboxes though. That was a really big deal because if you were bring a quote cold lunch is what they called that, and it was just like if you brought just a paper bag, you were a loser. But if you had a lunchbox, forget about it.
Yep. And if that lunchbox matched your Trapper Keeper.
Oh my gosh, Trapper Keeper! I forgot about that. I loved Trapper. Those were such littered with stickers. Littered
Full of
with
stickers. Yep. I had
Oh,
some
and doodles.
pretty cool pencils and pencil toppers in there in the little zipper pouch.
Pencil toppers. What pencil topper do you remember was one of your favorites? I don't even know if people are going to know what a pencil topper is. Well, okay. I'm guessing they will, based on the demographics of our listener.
Everyone will know what a pencil topper is.
Okay, fine. So what was your favorite?
Oh, I had like a space shuttle. That was my favorite. It was like in the shape of a space shuttle.
The black and white famous space shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yep.
Oh, which makes me remember another one. Travel memorabilia. When kids would come home from a trip, if they brought stuff, you kind of coveted being able to see what they brought and like just the imaginary value placed on it because it came from
such as Iowa.
Yeah, or Paul Bunyan in Brainerd or whatever. Iowa. Okay, I have one other that might not be a big one for you, but it was huge for me. Rocks. Rocks.
Oh yeah.
We used to be hugely into collecting rocks and trying to find agates. Cool
right?
rocks.
Yep.
Agates were huge. I still have a huge
Minnesota
collection
thing.
of agates. It is. Yeah, definitely. And we would trade them.
My grandma would always give me polished rocks.
Oh yeah? Yeah. Yeah, because you could go into like little gift stores or in northern Minnesota and get a little pouch of polished rocks for like a dime or something like that. And that was such a big deal to be able to sit and choose that.
Yep. Sort through them. What just out of curiosity, like what as you got a little older, like we're talking about like all real kid stuff, but even as you got like a little bit older, like into your teenage years, what were some of the things like as you got a little older?
Big jars of Dippity-Doo and final Aquanet hairspray.
What?
Those were big things that you saved your money for. People who drove mopeds.
Oh yeah. If you had
mopeds,
not just wheels, some sort of powered wheels.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And then, okay, are you ready for this? So before CDs, before iPods, all of those things, we had no way of capturing music. So I had a cassette player, okay? And I would put the radio next to the cassette player when I knew a good song was going to come on, and I would press the two buttons, record and play at the same time. And I would record my own music on this cassette, and it sounded so awful, and it was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I would say
I did the same thing.
You did?
Same exact thing. Oh, yeah. That was a big thing, to make your own mixtape, but you couldn't just drag your files around or like make a Spotify playlist. Do this like super getaway. It's awesome.
Oh, I have loved this. This is so much fun. This has been such a fun thing to talk about. I hope other people are going down memory lane. This is such a fun thing to think about, kid currency.
It is fun. So I like to think about like how this might affect us as adults, but we're going to have to save that for a different episode.
Right, which will be coming soon to a pod player near you.
Did you enjoy this episode? Please go to your favorite podcast platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review so others can discover it as well.
Growing self-awareness is a lifelong journey, and there's always further to go. And it's better when we're all in it together. Please think of someone you know who could benefit from hearing today's conversation and share this episode with them. We can't thank you enough for listening. Until next time, happy exploring, seekers.